The university cafeteria was full of noise and confusion. Students pushed through the lunch line, grabbing food and looking for places to sit. Groups of friends laughed at tables. Some students studied alone with headphones on. The air smelled like pizza, coffee, and the body spray that college kids seemed to think was necessary. Maya Torres sat alone at a corner table and watched everything. She watched how students moved. She watched how they talked to each other. She watched which ones sat with friends and which ones sat alone. Her dark eyes moved from one person to another, and she noticed things that other people missed. She noticed that the boy in the green jacket was nervous about something. She noticed that the girl with the hair was trying too hard to be part of a group that did not want her there. She noticed that the man in the black sweater was drinking his fourth coffee of the day, which meant he had probably not slept well. No one noticed her. That was the point. That had always been the point. Maya was a transfer student from Arizona State. Her records said she had moved to this university to study advanced biology and genetics. Her transcript showed perfect grades. Her teachers said she was quiet and polite and always prepared for class. The other students did not talk to her much because she did not seem to want to be talked to. She ate alone. She sat alone in the library. She went to her dorm room and stayed there in the evenings. She was the kind of student that most people forgot was even there. This was exactly what she wanted. What nobody at the university knew was that Maya Torres was not human. She had never been human. She would never be human. But she could pretend to be human very well. She had been pretending for 7 years. She was good at it. Maya was one of the came from a star system called, which was very far from Earth. They had been traveling through space for thousands of years before humans even invented writing. They were apex predators. This meant they were perfect hunters. Their bodies were designed by nature to kill. Their brains were designed to think like hunters. Everything about them was built for one purpose, to be the best at finding prey and destroying it. They had reflexes that were faster than human thought. When they looked at something, they could see movements that humans could not see. If a human blinked, it could see what happened during that blink. Their muscles were dense and powerful. They could jump higher than buildings. They could run faster than cars. They could break things that humans could not even damage with tools. Their minds were built the same way. They could look at a tactical problem and see the answer immediately. They could keep track of many things at once. They could predict what would happen next. They never panicked. They never made mistakes. They were perfect killers in every way. 7 years ago, a scouting team had come to Earth. There were 4 of them. Their mission was to look at the planet and the humans on it. They were supposed to understand what humans could do. Then they were supposed to report back to the collective. The collective was the government that ruled all the collective would decide if Earth should be invaded or left alone. The scouting team had expected to find a weak species. They thought humans were just animals that had learned to use tools. They thought humans were not dangerous. They thought humans could never fight back against the. They were very wrong about this. Maya's training officer was unnamed. He was older than her and he had fought in many wars. He had killed many things. He understood death and violence better than anyone else on the scouting team. When realized what humans were really like, it changed him. He understood that humans were not weak at all. Humans were different from but different did not mean weaker. Humans could do something that they could not do. Humans could choose. Humans could decide to do something even if it was bad for them. Humans could fight for other humans even if they did not know them. Humans could be brave even when they were afraid. Humans could sacrifice themselves for others. These things did not make sense to the way of thinking, but understood that these things made humans dangerous. When the collective sent other to bring back the scouting team made a choice. He chose to stay with Maya. He chose to hide instead of returning home. He chose to teach Maya about humans instead of reporting what he had learned. This was a crime. This was betrayal. The collective would have executed him for this if they had known. Had died 7 years ago protecting Maya from other hunters. She had been 14 years old. He had told her that she was special. He had told her that she could be something more than a perfect killer. He had told her that humans had shown him something beautiful. He had told her to learn from humans. Then he had died. Maya was 22 years old now. She had spent the last 7 years living in secret. She had learned how humans lived. She had learned how humans thought. She had learned why humans did things that seemed crazy to them. She had learned that had been right. Humans were strong in ways that had nothing to do with speed or strength or perfect thinking. Then 3 weeks ago, she had received a message. The message came through an encrypted computer system that was hidden in the ceiling of her dorm room. The message was from the collective. They had found something. A long time ago, humans had sent signals into space. The collective had been listening. They had heard those signals. They knew that humans existed. And now the collective had decided to send another scouting team to Earth. The new team would arrive in 6 months. When they arrived, they would look for the old scouting team. They would find no one. They would find that Maya was here. They would try to bring her back or kill her. Either way, they would learn about humans. And when they learned about humans, they would report back to the collective. And when the collective heard what humans could really do, they would send an army. They would send ships and soldiers. They would come to conquer Earth. Unless Maya stopped them. She watched the students in the cafeteria. Some of them were studying hard. Some of them were dreaming about the future. Some of them were just trying to survive another day. None of them knew that their world was about to change. None of them knew that they had less than 6 months before everything would be different. Maya finished her food and stood up. She moved carefully with movements that looked natural but were actually controlled. She had to remember to move like a human. She had to remember to be weak. She had to remember to hide who she really was. The Pentagon was a building that most people never got to see. It was huge and full of important people making important decisions. It was protected by soldiers and security systems. It was one of the most powerful places in the United States. Everything that happened there affected the entire world. Dr. Lisa Hammond had been invited to the Pentagon because she was one of the people in her field. She studied how to fight enemies that the military did not completely understand. She had written books about how humans could win wars against superior opponents. She had created theories about how smaller groups could defeat larger groups through intelligence and planning. The military wanted to know how humans could fight aliens. Lisa was the person they asked. The meetings had been happening for 3 months. Lisa would go to the Pentagon and sit in rooms with generals and scientists. They would ask her questions about defensive systems and fighting strategies. She would give them answers. She would suggest new ideas. She would tell them what humans could do well and what humans could not do well. Then she would go home and continue her regular job at the university. The regular job was teaching and running a research lab. The lab studied how humans could adapt to new situations quickly. The research was interesting to Lisa because it focused on the most important thing about humans. They could learn and change faster than any other species. A human could see a problem and find a solution. A human could practice something once and be better at it the next time. Humans were not the strongest or the fastest, but they were the best at learning. Lisa was in her lab at 11 o'clock at night when she heard the sound of someone entering. She was alone in the lab, as she usually was late at night. She was working on grant proposals, which meant she was trying to convince rich people and the government to give her money for her research. She did not hear the footsteps because the person had moved very quietly. When Lisa turned around, there was a girl standing in the doorway. Lisa jumped. She made a sound that was loud and scared. The girl immediately apologized in a quiet voice. She said she was a transfer student named Maya Torres. She said she needed help with a paper for an advanced topics class. She said she had seen that Lisa was working late and wondered if Lisa could help her. Lisa's heart was beating very fast. She felt silly for being so scared of a quiet student. She told Maya to come inside. She said they could talk about the paper. What Lisa did not know was that Maya had chosen this moment very carefully. Maya knew that Lisa always worked alone in the lab on Thursday nights. Maya knew that Lisa would be focused on her work and might not hear someone approaching. Maya knew that Lisa was exactly the person she needed to talk to. Maya had written a paper. She had written it very carefully, choosing each word with attention. The paper was about how to fight an enemy that was stronger and faster and smarter than you were. The paper explained that the enemy would expect humans to fight in certain ways. The paper explained that humans could use the enemy's expectations against them. The paper explained strategies for confusing a more advanced opponent. The paper explained how humans could win a war that they should have lost. As Lisa read the paper, her face changed. She looked interested. She looked impressed. She looked like she was realizing something important. She asked Maya questions about where she had gotten her ideas. Maya told her that she had a family member in intelligence work. She said the family member had asked her to think about this problem. She said the paper was just a thought exercise. Lisa wanted to keep talking to Maya. She wanted to understand how this quiet student could write something so good. She offered Maya a job as a research assistant. Maya accepted immediately. For the next 6 weeks, Maya came to the lab 3 times a week. She did research. She helped Lisa with experiments. She read papers about military strategy and human adaptation, but mostly she talked with Lisa. She asked questions about combat systems. She asked how humans could organize large groups of people. She asked about the difference between following orders and thinking for yourself. She asked about trust and how humans knew when to trust someone. Lisa answered all of these questions. She did not understand why a college student was so interested in combat strategy, but she enjoyed the conversations. Maya was smart. Maya asked good questions. Lisa felt like she was teaching someone who actually understood what she was trying to do. Then Maya brought her a new document. This document was very detailed. It was called Asymmetric Warfare Against Technologically Superior Opponents, a practical framework. The document explained how a species with bad technology could still win a war against a species with good technology. It explained military tactics. It explained psychology. It explained how to break down an enemy's organization. It explained how to use human strengths against an enemy's expectations. The document was perfect. It was exactly what the military had been asking Lisa about at the Pentagon. Maya told Lisa that she wanted to give this document to the military. She said that her family member had suggested that this analysis should be shared with the intelligence community. She said she was worried about something called first contact, which meant when humans first met an alien species. She said she wanted to make sure that humans would be ready. Lisa made a phone call that day. She called her contact at the Pentagon. She said she had someone who wanted to share information with the military. She said the information was important. She said the person was credible and trustworthy. The next morning, Maya was sitting in a conference room with 3 federal agents and a military liaison named Colonel Stephen Wright. They wanted to know everything about her. They wanted to know how she had written the document. They wanted to know if the information was real or just theory. They wanted to know if she had contacts in other governments or other countries. Maya answered their questions carefully. She did not lie. She just did not tell them everything. She told them that her family had connections to intelligence work. She told them that she had studied available information about known alien species. She told them that the paper was based on scientific analysis of available data. She told them that she was willing to help the military prepare for first contact. The agents and the colonel looked at each other. They seemed to believe her. They made another phone call. They said they wanted to bring Maya into a classified program. They said they wanted her to help develop defensive strategies. Within 2 weeks, Maya had been given a security clearance. This meant the government had checked her background and decided she could be trusted with secret information. She was given access to classified intelligence databases. She was invited to briefings about alien species. She was brought into rooms where the most important military people discussed how to prepare for a war with aliens. No one knew that she was the alien they were preparing to fight. No one knew that she had spent her whole life learning about humans so that she could teach about them. No one knew that the quiet girl on campus was going to change the future of human civilization. Lisa Hammond felt proud that she had helped Maya get this opportunity. She did not understand why the military wanted to transfer students so badly, but she knew that Maya was special. She knew that Maya could do important things. What Lisa did not know was that Maya had planned everything. She had known that Lisa would recognize the importance of her analysis. She had known that Lisa would contact the military. She had known that the military would want to bring her in. Maya had set everything in motion. The facility was built inside a mountain in Colorado. It was 3,000 feet below the surface. The mountain was cold and dark, and inside the mountain was a secret military base. The base had laboratories and meeting rooms and storage areas for weapons. It had computers that connected to every military system in the United States. It had the scientists and the toughest soldiers. It was where the military kept its most important secrets. Maya had been at the facility for 4 months. She lived in a small room. She ate in the cafeteria with other researchers. She attended briefings every day. She studied intelligence about She analyzed military systems. She reviewed tactical plans. She had access to information that almost no one in the world was allowed to see. What the military did not know was that Maya was changing their plans from the inside. The military had been preparing for an alien invasion for over 100 years. They had found fragments of information about deep space explorers had reported seeing ships. Scientists had studied the ships from very far away. They had analyzed how the ships moved and what technology they used. The military had built theories about how the thought and what they would do if they came to Earth. All of these theories were wrong. The military thought that they would come with their strongest soldiers and their biggest weapons. The military thought that a full invasion would happen with thousands of ships. The military thought that the only way to survive would be to have more weapons and more soldiers than they had. The military thought that human numbers could overcome speed and strength. These ideas were so far from the truth that they were almost funny. They would not send an invasion force first. That was not how they worked. They would send a small observation team. This team would study humans for a few weeks. They would report back to the collective. The collective would make a decision about whether to invade or leave Earth alone. The observation team would not expect any resistance. They would expect to land unopposed and begin their work immediately. This gave humans a chance. This gave Myra a chance. She had been slowly changing the military's defensive plans. She had suggested that certain weapon systems should be moved to different locations. To the military officers, this seemed like a good idea. The new locations seemed logical, but Maya knew that these locations would not be effective against tactics. She had suggested that the military develop certain types of weapons. These weapons would be useless against standard defensive systems, but the military did not know this. She had recommended strategies that would fail. She had suggested tactics that would be countered easily. She had shaped the military's preparation so that when the observation team arrived, they would see exactly what Maya wanted them to see. They would see humans that were weak and unprepared. And they would be wrong. General Tucker was the commander of the facility. He had been in the military for 30 years. He had fought in wars. He had made life and death decisions. He had learned to trust his instincts about people. His instincts were telling him that something was wrong with Maya Torres. He had been watching her carefully for weeks. He had noticed that her suggestions always seemed to make human defenses weaker. He had noticed that her analysis of tactics kept changing in ways that seemed suspicious. He had noticed that she seemed to know too much about how the thought. 3 weeks ago, he had ordered a full background investigation. Maya knew about the investigation. She could see it happening. The security people had started watching her more closely. They took photographs of where she went. They recorded the conversations she had with other researchers. They checked her movements every hour of every day. They were beginning to understand that something was not right about this girl. The investigation would reach Arizona soon. They would look at her records. They would find that Maya Torres did not exist before 7 years ago. They would find that her identity was fake. They would find that she had no family, no birth certificate, no history. They would find that she had created herself out of nothing. When they found these things, they would know that she was not human. Maya did not have much time left. She calculated it carefully. She had maybe 1 week before the investigation reached the encrypted records in Arizona. She had maybe 1 week before they understood the truth. She had maybe 1 week to prevent a disaster. If the military tried to capture her, they would trigger a full-scale response from the collective. The observation team would report that Earth had hostile military systems. They would report that humans were preparing for war. The collective would decide that Earth was a threat. They would send the invasion fleet immediately. Thousands of ships would come. Millions of soldiers would land. They would destroy human civilization in less than 1 month. But if Maya could control how they learned about human capability, everything would be different. Maya had a plan. It was a complicated plan. It required that General Tucker would trust her. It required that the military would follow her orders instead of trying to stop her. It required that humans and would be willing to negotiate. It was a plan that should not work, but it was the only plan that might save Earth. She decided that she would tell Tucker the truth. She requested a private meeting with him. She said she had information about the investigation that he needed to know. Tucker approved the meeting for the next morning at sunrise. He said that no one else would be present. He said they would talk in his private office. Maya did not sleep that night. She sat in her room and thought about what he had taught her. He had taught her that humans had something they did not have. Humans had the ability to believe in things that they could not see. Humans could trust other humans even when trust was dangerous. Humans could sacrifice themselves for other humans. These things seemed crazy to her, but they were true. Had told her that this was humanity's greatest strength. This was the thing that would save them. In the morning, Maya walked to General Tucker's office. She walked slowly with deliberate steps. She was not afraid. She was ready. When she reached the door, she knocked once. Tucker told her to enter. She opened the door and stepped inside. Tucker was standing at his window looking out at the Colorado mountains. When he turned to face her, she could see that he already knew something was wrong. His face was hard, his eyes were cold, but he was listening. "Your real name is not Maya Tors," Tucker said immediately. Maya had expected this question. She had prepared her answer. She would tell him the truth. She would tell him what she was. She would tell him what was coming. She would ask him to trust her. General Tucker was a man who had learned to control his reactions. He had been in situations where showing emotion could mean death. He had learned to keep his face calm and his voice steady no matter what was happening. He had learned to think clearly even when everything around him was falling apart. These skills had saved his life many times. Now he was looking at a girl who had just admitted that she was not human. For several seconds, neither of them spoke. Tucker continued to look at Maya. His eyes were studying her, looking for signs of danger, looking for anything that might explain what was happening. Maya stood still. She waited. She let him have time to think. "You are not going to try to run," Tucker said. It was not a question. "No," Maya said. "I came here to talk to you. Running would mean that you would have to chase me. Chasing me would cause a response from your soldiers. A response would create panic. Panic would spread to the media. The media would tell the world that there is an alien on Earth. That is the worst possible outcome." Tucker nodded slowly. "You know what would happen." "I know," Maya said. "The observation team would receive reports that humans are preparing military defenses. They would interpret this as proof that Earth is a hostile world. They would return to the collective and recommend full invasion. The collective would send everything. Your people would not be able to stop them." Tucker walked back to his desk and sat down. He gestured for Maya to sit in the chair across from him. She sat. Her movements were careful. She was showing him that she was not a threat. She was showing him that she understood the situation. "Tell me what you are," Tucker said. Maya explained. She explained that she was. She explained that she had been sent to Earth as part of a scouting team 7 years ago. She explained that her training officer, unnamed, had chosen to stay on Earth instead of returning to the collective. She explained that had taught her about humans. She explained that had died protecting her. She explained that the collective was sending another observation team in approximately 3 weeks. She explained that when this team arrived, they would discover that the old scouting team was missing. They would find Maya. They would try to capture her or kill her. Either way, they would learn what humans had been doing for the past 7 years. Tucker listened to all of this without interrupting. When Maya finished, he asked a single question. "Why are you telling me this?" "Because you are the only person who can help me prevent an invasion," Maya said. "Because I need the military to trust me. Because died teaching me that some things are more important than survival." Tucker stood up and walked to the window again. He looked out at the mountains. He was silent for a very long time. When he spoke, his voice was quiet. "My father fought in a war," Tucker said. "It was a terrible war. Many people died. He told me once that the worst thing about war was not the dying. The worst thing was realizing that people had to choose between their own safety and protecting other people. He said that most humans choose to protect other people even when it costs them their lives. He said that this was the one thing that made humans different from other species." Tucker turned back to face Maya. "My father was right," Tucker said. "I have seen humans make impossible choices. I have seen soldiers run into fire to save other soldiers. I have seen parents stand in front of their children to protect them from danger. I have seen humans do things that do not make logical sense but that are absolutely right." He paused. He was choosing his words carefully. "What you are asking me to do does not make logical sense," Tucker said. "You are an alien species. Your people want to conquer my world. By every logical calculation, I should have you arrested. I should have you imprisoned. I should use you as a prisoner of war." "But," Maya asked. "But I believe you," Tucker said. "I believe that you came here to talk to me instead of running away. I believe that you could kill every soldier in this facility if you wanted to. I believe that you are making a choice to protect my people instead of protecting yourself. That is a human choice. You are asking me to be human too." Tucker extended his hand across the desk. "What do you need from me?" he asked. Maya explained her plan. She explained that when the observation team arrived, she would position herself at the landing site. The military would position soldiers in hidden locations. She would meet with the commander. She would tell him about the changes to Earth over the past 7 years. She would explain that she had chosen to stay with humans instead of returning to the collective. She would demonstrate human capability by defeating the commander in single combat. You will lose to her in a fight, Tucker said. No, Maya said. I will not. I am faster and stronger than the commander because I was trained by who was the best warrior in the collective. The commander will not expect this. The commander will expect that I have been weakened by living with humans. The commander will be wrong. Maya continued. She explained that when they saw that she could defeat their commander, they would understand that Earth was not an easy conquest. She explained that she would offer the commander a choice. She would tell him to return to the collective with a message. The message would say that Earth possessed something that could not overcome, a species that would fight with complete determination and could not be conquered by superior strength alone. Will the collective listen? Tucker asked. I do not know, Maya said, but it is the only way to prevent invasion. If I meet them with military force, they will see humans as a threat and respond with invasion. If I meet them alone and show them that I have chosen humans over my own species, they will have to report this to the collective. The collective will have to explain how a single warrior could choose an alien species over her own people. They will have to consider the possibility that humans have something worth protecting. Tucker nodded slowly. You are betting everything on the chance that an alien government will value what humans have. Bet everything on that chance, Maya said. He died for it. I am asking that you do the same, not to die but to trust that humans are worth saving. Tucker looked at Maya for a long moment. He could see that she was serious. He could see that she believed in what she was saying. He could see that she was willing to sacrifice everything. He made his decision. We will do it, Tucker said. We will position our soldiers. We will prepare for the arrival of the observation team. We will help you meet them. But I need you to understand something. If this fails, if your people invade, I will fight to protect my world, and you will be standing beside me when I do. Yes, Maya said, I will be standing beside you. Tucker extended his hand again. This time it was not a gesture of command. It was a gesture of partnership. Maya shook his hand. His grip was firm and respectful. The Nevada desert stretched out for hundreds of miles in every direction. There was nothing there but sand and rocks and empty space. The sky was so big that it made humans feel very small. The stars were bright and clear, and at night you could see thousands of them. The desert was where you went when you wanted to be alone. The desert was where you went when you wanted to think about how large the universe was. They had chosen a landing site 17 miles from the nearest military installation. They thought they were being careful. They thought they were landing in a location where humans could not interfere. They did not know that every grain of sand for 5 miles in every direction had been prepared by humans. They did not know that underground systems were positioned around the landing zone. They did not know that soldiers were hidden in tunnels and bunkers. They did not know that drones were flying high in the sky, watching everything. They did not know that they were walking into a trap, but it was not a trap designed to kill them. It was a trap designed to show them something. Maya stood in the center of the landing zone. She was alone. Her hands were empty. Her body was relaxed. She was standing still, but every muscle in her body was ready to move. She was ready for anything that might happen. In her ear, a small microphone connected her to General Tucker. Tucker was in a command center 3 miles away, surrounded by computers and soldiers and intelligence officers. Tucker could hear everything that was happening. He could see everything through the drone cameras. He could give orders to the soldiers if things went wrong. The shuttle came down from the sky as the sun was rising. It moved slowly and carefully, descending toward the landing zone. The shuttle was smooth and black, and it seemed to absorb light instead of reflecting it. When the shuttle touched the ground, dust flew up into the air. The cargo ramp lowered. 3 emerged from the shuttle. They moved like predators. Their muscles were loose and ready. Their eyes were sharp and aware. They wore tactical gear that covered their bodies with armor made of materials that humans did not have access to. In their hands, they carried weapons that could cut through steel. They were beautiful in the way that apex predators are beautiful. They were perfect. They were deadly. The lead saw Maya and understood what she was immediately. His body tensed. The other 2 moved into positions that would allow them to attack from different angles. They recognized Maya but they also recognized that she was different. She had been on Earth. She had changed. The lead moved forward. His name was. He was a commander, which meant he had fought in many battles and killed many enemies. He moved with the confidence of someone who had never lost a fight. Spoke in the clicking language of the. Maya understood every word. He said that she was listed as missing and presumed dead. He said that she needed to explain her survival. He said that the collective wanted information. Maya responded in the same language. Her accent was careful because English was her main language now. She explained that had decided to stay on Earth. She explained that they had established a research facility. She explained that they had learned important things about humans. His hand moved toward his weapon. He said that was classified as a rogue. He said that Maya was guilty of treason. He said that Maya had been contaminated by humans. He said that she needed to return to the collective for judgment. No, Maya said. She switched to English. She spoke clearly and strongly. I have chosen to stay. I have chosen to protect this world. His face showed confusion. I did not choose. I followed orders. I did what they were designed to do. Choice was a human concept. Did not understand choice. That makes no sense, said in broken English. He was struggling with the language. It does not make sense to you, Maya said. It makes perfect sense to humans. Humans choose every day. Humans choose to protect people they love even when it costs them everything. Humans choose to believe in things that they cannot see. Humans choose to be brave even when they are afraid. That is why you will lose if you try to conquer this world. Did not respond with words. He moved with terrible speed. He crossed the distance between them in less than a second. His hand was coming toward Maya's face with enough force to kill her. Maya was faster. She moved to the side. Strike passed next to her face so close that she could feel the air moving. She reached out and grabbed his arm. She used his own momentum against him. She pulled his body forward and down. She moved with precision and power. Hit the ground hard. The impact knocked the air out of his lungs. For the first time in his life, understood that there was something faster than him. There was something stronger. There was something that he could not defeat. Maya stood over him. She did not hurt him. She did not try to kill him. She simply waited. The other two moved to attack. Then a voice came through the communication system. The voice was translated into through automated systems. The voice was General Tucker. You have 30,000 soldiers positioned around this location, Tucker said in English, and the translation followed. Your shuttle is surrounded. Your mission is compromised. Your commander is defeated. Stand down. This was not exactly true. There were not 30,000 soldiers, but the military had hidden soldiers in every position that mattered. They could see defense systems activated around them. They could see humans emerging from hidden positions. They could see that they were outnumbered and stood up slowly. His body was hurting. His pride was destroyed, but he was still alive. Maya had not killed him. She had simply shown him that he was not invincible. I am's legacy, Maya said. I am what happens when strength combines with human choice. I am what you will face if you try to invade this world. The question is not whether you can win. The question is whether the collective is willing to pay the cost. Maya extended her hand too. It was a gesture of respect. In culture, offering your hand to someone was a sign that you were willing to follow them into battle. Maya was offering something different. She was offering peace. Looked at her hand. He looked at the soldiers surrounding him. He looked at the sky where human aircraft were watching. He understood that his mission was over. He understood that he had to return to the collective with the truth. Slowly, he reached out and took her hand. What do you want me to tell the collective? He asked. Tell them that humans will fight with everything they have, Maya said. Tell them that humans will not surrender even when surrender seems like the only option. Tell them that humans have something they do not have. Tell them about me. Tell them that I chose to protect an alien world because she believed that protection was more important than conquest. Nodded, the collective may not listen. I know, Maya said, but at least they will know the truth. The shuttle lifted off into the sky. Maya watched it rise. General Tucker came toward her in a vehicle. When he reached her, he got out and walked up to her. He extended his hand. You saved us, Tucker said. I saved myself, Maya said. I found a family in a species that was supposed to be my target. I chose them. Now I will spend my life making sure that choice was right. She looked out at the desert. She looked at the sun rising over the horizon. Somewhere in the sky, a shuttle was carrying a message that would change everything. But on Earth, a quiet girl on campus had just prevented the end of human civilization. She had done it not through superior strength or perfect planning. She had done it through the one thing that had taught her was more powerful than anything else. The human choice to believe in something worth fighting for. The choice to sacrifice. The choice to be brave. The choice to be human. And that was the most deadly predator of all. For the first time since arriving on Earth, Maya understood what had been trying to teach her. This was trust. This was what it meant to choose another person over safety. This was what made humans strong. Tucker released her hand and walked to the window. Outside, the sun was rising over the Colorado mountains. In 3 weeks, everything would change. But for now, a general and an alien warrior stood together and prepared for what was coming. She would ask a general of the most powerful military on Earth to make a choice. She would ask him to believe in something that seemed impossible. She would ask him to be human. Now it was time for the next part of her plan to begin. But not for much longer. Tomorrow she would begin the real work. Tomorrow she would start getting ready for what was coming. Today she was still just a quiet girl on campus. Today nobody would notice her. But soon everyone would know her name. Soon everyone would know that the deadliest predator they had ever encountered had been sitting right next to them the whole time.